and welcome back to another speed build video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Copperdale on a 20 by 20 lot, and today's build is a family micro home. So yes, this does register as only 32 tiles and there is room for an entire family. I'm so proud of this build and I had a lot of fun trying to challenge myself to make such a tiny house work for family gameplay. So technically, you could attempt to fit 4 different Sims into this house. It would definitely be very squishy and you'd have to use a bunk bed, but you could do it. So I'm pretty proud of that fact. And here you can see I just added in a little garden plot in the front because you will soon see I definitely fill this up with a lot of flowers. I've been kind of flower crazy with all my landscaping recently. I'm just having so much fun with it, and I really like kind of a wild look to adding in these kind of garden areas. And so to me, it makes sense in the builds I've been doing to have a couple garden plots. So then your Sims can build their gardening skill, and it just kind of feels right for how many flowers are on this lot. And of course, as always, I'm using a ton of different items from specifically the Cottage Living live edit. So if you are wondering where some of these objects are from, that is where I tend to go to for landscaping. So there is a couple base game items, but almost all of it is just Cottage Living. I just find it so easy to landscape with and I don't have to think about it. So you can see there is a little pond area, and then there's going to be a little playset area. And then back here, I just wanted it to feel kind of like a forest and blend into the surroundings. But I, of course, used Cottage Living trees for the most part. And if you are wondering where the tree with some of those nice white flowers are from, it's from Get Together. So I really like these combination of trees, which is such a builder thing to say, having like a favorite tree in the game, but I do have a favorite tree. And here you can see the playset kind of coming together, and I really did want this build to read as a family home, so I wanted to make sure there was a playset area. And of course, I have definitely been thinking about the new pack, the Growing Together pack that is coming out in just under a week now, I think. And so I wanted to try to build a family home that was a little bit non-traditional. And of course, I've been a little tiny house crazy. If you saw my most recent video, you would have seen I built a tiny house for the BFFs. So each one of them got their own tiny house on the lot. And I have just been really like in the tiny house mindset lately. So really happy to carry that through to this build and create a family home. So you can see we are moving on to adding in just a few items to the exterior. I really wanted to make sure there was a covered area where I could add in a table because I knew I wouldn't have room on the inside of the build for a table. So I just added that in, and I love those chairs. I believe they're from Cats and Dogs, but I could be wrong. But happy to have them in this build. I think they really fit the vibe. Definitely with builds like this, I always try to think about like what would Miss Honey do from Matilda. I always think about her cottage from the movie and want to mimic that in builds like this. So I think I was able to get that across and add in a lot of items that just made it feel homey and also, of course, made it functional. Like adding in the barbecue. I don't know why, but I always like think about barbecue as like a piece of family gameplay. I just feel like it would work really well in gameplay as like you barbecue every Sunday. I'm not sure why, but I wanted to make sure I added it into this, which I haven't mentioned. The other thing about this build is it is a starter home. So I think it came in around 17,000 simoleons. So you will have a little bit of extra money to work with. And I really wanted to make it possible for you to just put this down and have this be your family starter home where your Sims could start their family or continue to grow their family. And I wanted it to work for gameplay really well. So I'm really happy I was able to not only have this be such a small home, but also have it work for gameplay in that it's a starter home. So you can see for the kitchen, I went with the Country Kitchen Kit counters and cabinets. And I went for this green swatch, and I just thought it looked really nice against the blue gingham. And I love how this little tiny kitchen turned out. I think it ended up being really cute. And I've been really loving that shelf from Tiny Living that's already cluttered up, just because in these starter home builds, having something that's already cluttered so you don't have to pay a ton of simoleons to clutter it up is very, very nice. So one of the items that I didn't know existed in the game, and I was just looking for something cheap to put on top of the microwave, is that little like utensil set, and I believe it's from Toddler Stuff, and it was so perfect because it had blue gingham plates. So I just thought that was a cute detail to tie in the wallpaper to the kitchen. And you can see I used the werewolf desk to add in a little study area. I wanted to be sure there was a computer because definitely very necessary for gameplay. You got to have a computer in the build. And of course, to make this build possible, I had to use the Murphy bed. There's no way that you could have multiple Sims sleep in this house without a Murphy bed, or I guess a bunk bed, but very grateful for that item, and definitely will make this house work really well for this tiny squishy home that we have. But you can see in the kids' room, I went with a toddler, but I tried to make it possible so you could easily switch this out for any life stage. Because of course we're getting infants soon, so I think this could also make a really cute nursery. And I think this could make a cool teens room if you just make a couple changes to it. Love that item from the bathroom clutter kit. I feel like it made like a custom wallpaper kind of. So I really liked just being able to size that up, and it added in so much detail for not that many simoleons. So we're actually almost to the end of the video. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.